All right. Hello, everybody. Welcome to our presentation. First of all, I'd like to thank you all for coming and watching. And yeah, so this year we did our presentation on the Fiesta Bowl. We evaluated their social media presence. And in addition to that, we came up with recommendations on how they can improve their social media presence to gain more fans.
So here's some quick background information. First off, I want to congrats the Iowa State Cyclones on their win against Oregon in this year's Fiesta Bowl. And so now you're probably wondering, why are we doing this project? So in a pandemic, in a remote setting like we are currently in, social media is key to how organizations connect with their fans. And so our overall goal for this project was, how can the Fiesta Bowl increase their engagement among high school students? And so we accomplished this by completing a SWOT analysis of the Fiesta Bowl's social channels and evaluating what they're doing well, where they can improve, and opportunities for how they can increase their engagement with their Gen Z fan base.
All right, so I'd like to introduce our team. As you can see, we've come from a lot of different places, like Sydney, she loves R&B music. Tavion, he runs track. Jaden's on the dance team, and I played football. We all come from different places, but we came together during this project to make a good presentation for you guys. I also like to shout out the guys that helped us out during the presentation, because they were a big help to us in all the setup and the presentation, and they were very encouraging to us and our ideas.
The topics that we're going to discuss in our presentation are the different social media accounts that the Fiesta Bowl has, go over the themes and categories that we commonly saw in their social media, the strengths, weaknesses, current threats, high school social media usage, opportunities or recommendations that we have for the Fiesta Bowl, and then wrap it up with our final thoughts.
On this slide, we have Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook. They are the top 3 social media pages we noticed had a lot of activity going on when it came to the Fiesta Bowl. After the Fiesta Bowl game, Instagram gained 5,000 followers, Twitter gained 2,000 followers, and Facebook stayed the same.
Okay, so over our time listening and observing these channels, there were 4 main categories in the types of posts these channels put out. So first we have our highlights, which consisted of clips from occurring games, our promo and hype, which were things like the bowl projections that came out weekly, the community outreach, which was anything relating to fundraisers and charities, and then recognition, which was shouting out people and organizations that helped the Fiesta Bowl be successful. And I really think it's important to note that for our highlights and promo and hype, on Twitter specifically, on Saturdays, we saw an average about 7 to 10 posts on these days.
Now we're going to discuss some of the strengths that we saw while we were listening to the Fiesta Bowl social media. So one of the unique things that the Fiesta Bowl does is they have a podcast, and we don't see this with very many teams. And through research, we found that more than half of the United States has listened to a podcast at some point. So by having a podcast, they found a way to reach another audience and just continue to grow their fan base. They also posted something cool, that was the bowl projections. So it just helped to build excitement and to engage fans as we were leading up to the game. And they also posted posts that had cultural relevance. So we saw a lot of that over the winter, especially during the holiday seasons. And it was a great way for fans to relate to the team and just to keep getting involved on social media.
So now we're on to our weaknesses. So community outreach is very important, but students tend to scroll past these posts and they don't really pay attention to it because it doesn't impact them and their day-to-day lives. And as it ties into community outreach, there was a considerable amount of posts that were related to golf. And so for a football bowl game page, followers are looking for football related content. and not an unrelated sport like golf.
The Fiesta Bowl top threats are very little high school engagement and seasonal followers. We notice high schoolers are most likely to scroll and watch short videos more than longer ones. They are also less likely to follow accounts. Instead, they discover content through friends, family, and also what's trending at that time.
Now that we've gone over some of the strengths and the weaknesses, we're going to go over the recommendations that we came up with as a team. So we also found a bunch of data that showed the different trends in high school media usage for high school students. The data that we found traced all the way back to 2012. However, we're only going to look at 2017 through 2020 because that is when the platforms that we were listening to became the most popular. So Snapchat, TikTok, and Instagram are the most popular social media channels used by high school students. However, as we discussed earlier, the only one of those that the Fiesta Bowl currently uses is Instagram.
So one of the biggest opportunities that we found out about something the Fiesta Bowl could do is make a TikTok account, because football teams have been blowing up on TikTok for all types of different reasons. Another reason we want them to make a TikTok account would be to help grow their other social media pages, because a recent trend, especially on TikTok, is TikTok users using their platform on TikTok and moving it to Instagram or YouTube and help spread all of their social media pages and grow their fan bases. So that's one of our biggest suggestions for them to do.
Earlier, Jaden mentioned one of the Fiesta Bowl strengths were their podcasts. When it comes to monthly podcast listeners, they doubled by 16% in 2019. And in 2020, they averaged 100 million monthly listeners. Our generation enjoys listening and talking about podcasts all over social media. As of increasing fan engagement, we saw exciting music and graphics have more engagement than others. We also had ideas of our own for even better content. There are trivias, sweepstakes, giveaways, and also Q&As with the players before the game and interviews.
And so as we wrap our presentation up, we give our final thoughts. So the Fiesta Bowl has a great foundation to build a bigger platform amongst high school students by utilizing platforms like TikTok, YouTube, and even expanding podcasts. Our goal for this project was to be very forward-thinking, so we took a lot of time and effort looking into the competitors, and we noticed what the other New Year's Six bowls were and weren't doing. And we really think with our recommendations, the Fiesta Bowl can be a leader in engaging Gen Z. I want to thank you for your time, and we hope you enjoyed the presentation.
Now we'd be happy to take any questions that you have and explain anything further if you'd like us to.
That was great. Thank you guys very much. It was very impressive. I love seeing the analysis between all the different social channels. I think that was obviously a big piece of this, is figuring out what more can be done to reach people at your age group. So great job by you guys to really focus on that and show a lot of data that backs up what you're presenting. I had some questions that I don't think your research probably wouldn't have shown you the answer. So some of them will be just your kind of opinions based on what you've learned. And then Jeff, I don't know if you want to kick us off first before I get into mine. You did a great job last time setting the stage.
Yeah, I mean, Sam, thanks for kind of mentioning the fact that I think my questions are also kind of geared towards stuff that you may not have necessarily researched, but hopefully can apply based on the research you did. And again, I think Sam mentioned what a good job you guys did of breaking down each of the different platforms and what their intended audiences were. What reasoning do you guys think that the Fiesta Bowl marketing staff didn't put more efforts into building up some of those social platforms earlier, right? Like, TikTok and Snapchat certainly aren't new platforms. They had to have had some understanding that that's a place to reach younger people. Why do you think they didn't make that investment in time or money, prior to this year's Fiesta Bowl?
I think that a lot of it came from, as you mentioned, they're still growing platforms and relatively new. And we've seen a lot of like research and backing up that shows that the other platforms have been successful in previous years. So I think they took the safer route this year and stuck with the ones that have been tried and true. But like as we said, that if they would expand onto those other platforms, they'd be able to reach an even larger fan base.
Yeah, excellent. It's funny too. The one thing that sort of countered that idea when I was thinking through it was that they didn't have any growth on Facebook, right? They did well on both Twitter and Instagram. So, while they sort of underperform with young people, which is understandable, why do you think they would have struggled with the older crowd where Facebook seems to be more of an ideal platform for the audience that they've typically done well with?
I think Facebook hasn't been growing as much because like Instagram, TikTok, a kid gets their first phone, that's what they put on. Kids don't put Facebook on their phone anymore. So I think they've gotten all the followers on Facebook that they were going to get. And it's kind of hard to attract new people when new people aren't coming onto the app.
Great. So yeah, they've done a good job there. They've just sort of maxed themselves out. In your opinion, they've hit the top level. Great. Sam, I'll kick it over to you. Just wanted to use those as start off questions.
I like it. I actually had the exact same question. I was going to put it to you all to try and understand why Facebook didn't grow at all, because that stood out to me as well. So I liked the recommendations. I think getting on TikTok obviously is a huge opportunity that a lot of teams are moving toward. I know what I see as the value in TikTok. I'm curious more specifically, what type of content would you all like to see on Fiesta Bowl's TikTok? What do you think would really not only convert fans, but convert fans into revenue opportunities and into lifelong fans? So ultimately, like between, I don't know, what do you think they should be putting on there? What would be the most effective?
I currently follow lots of football teams on TikTok, and what I've noticed, the videos that I enjoy the most are like videos with the teams after games, like celebrating in the locker room. I just really like to see that like kind of childish type of fun and like joy in the players rather than just like, grr, I'm a man type of stuff.
To piggyback off of what Sydney said, I think it's that relatable content that you can kind of imagine the football players at your own high school doing because you relate to them a lot. And like Sydney said, just you don't always want to see that super manly, tough side. You want to be able to relate to them because that's what's going to make you want to follow along. And then also, I think that they can show different aspects of the team that you don't always see on the television or the media, like in sideline interviews. You can see them getting on and off of the planes. You can see them doing all these other fun things that you don't always get to see on the other media channels.
Zach, Tay, you guys have any opinion on this? So I think the next question is, once you start seeing the things that you like on TikTok and on Snapchat, what more can the Fiesta Bowl do? Because obviously they want fans, right? But they want fans partly because fans bring them more revenue. So it's one thing to build affinity. It's another thing to convert that into sales. So what do you think would it actually influence you to buy Fiesta Bowl gear or buy tickets to the game or make sure you watched it on TV? All the things that are actually going to create real revenue for that group, which they then go, and I know they donate a ton to the community, including as being sponsors of Sports Biz Cares. So what's the next level there to get more engagement in a way that would actually generate revenue that they can make a bigger impact? And again, this is an opinion thing. There's no right or wrong answer to this. I'm just curious, you guys personally, what does it take when you see something on TikTok? What does it take for you to then actually act on what you're seeing and influence your own behavior as a result of it?
Again, I think it just boils down to like what Jaden said, that relatable content. I'm pretty like I think I'm pretty careful with my money, so I won't just like spend it. So I really need to see some type of investment with the fans, and if they're giving us the content that I want, then I usually will invest in it.
Another thing with content is I think, especially for the Fiesta Bowl, they have to do it year round, their content, because it's only one game, but they need to stay in your mind throughout the entire year. So I think putting out stuff on TikTok or Instagram yearly, like throughout the entirety of the year, will help them grow and stay in people's minds for when it actually happens.
I like that. That's a great answer, and I agree. They are attempting to be a year-round entity, just like the college football playoff is. They wanted people to know that they're really making an impact outside of just game day. So it's a very good answer. Jeff, you have anything else?
Yeah, I kind of one follow-up question to that, and I had one additional question. I think that's one of the challenges that a lot of sports properties find, and a lot of properties in general find, is how do you maintain year-round relevance when you do have a focus around a specific time of the year? So, what types of programs do you think they could be doing in August or November before the big lead up? How do you keep a group engaged when there's not a tent pole to kind of focus that content around?
So what I was thinking, I've been thinking about it, and the Fiesta Bowl has been around for many years. They could put out exciting content from games past throughout the year to help build up excitement. And for Instagram, there's some posts you have to do. So post like a watch list or the top teams that might be coming up next season that could end up in the Fiesta Bowl. Stuff like that.
Top 10 most exciting games over the last decade or something like that. Yeah,
something like that.
That's a really cool thought.
I think the best football game of all time, the Boise State Oklahoma Fiesta Bowl. I don't know if you guys came across any highlights of that, but that one was incredible. How much? I know we didn't ask you sorry, Jeff, I cut you off. Did you have another question?
No, I had one other question, and it's a bit of a lame question since it's the topic of everything. But obviously, with Arizona, I think this morning was named as the top new COVID hotspot in the world. I'm curious to how they used, how the Fiesta Bowl folks used their social media platforms, and probably primarily Twitter and Instagram, functionally. Like, how did they inform fans of safety or that type of thing, or different precautions that would be going on in the game? Did they utilize it much for that purpose?
This was back in early December. They posted something about their like partner bowl, the guaranteed rate bowl, about the safety guideline, but they only did that once. It wasn't really, their platform wasn't really used a lot for information like that.
I was just curious about that. Thank you.
That's another big, it's a very powerful platform for education too. I think there should be some spin there, especially because the Fiesta Bowl has a huge partnership with some education program. I'm blanking on what it is, but I know they do a lot for education. The other piece of it, I know this wasn't part of your assignment. Did you guys go back and look at what Fiesta Bowl has done year round? I know we only tasked you, I think, with like a weeks long audit, right? Did anyone go above and beyond and look at stuff that they did throughout the year?
I scrolled through their, especially their Instagram, and then the hashtag Fiesta Bowl on TikTok is where I put a lot of my energy in. And they, I think it was mentioned several times throughout our presentation, but they focused a lot right leading up to the event, like the 3 weeks or 2 to 3 weeks right up to the game. They focused a lot of their attention into it. And I believe Sydney mentioned that they did a lot of their community service mentions, and they did that more throughout the year than posting content that directly related to the game. They focused more on their branding and their image year round rather than getting fans engaged and excited for the game.
Makes sense. Yeah, it's hard. They do have annual events that are outside of this game that they do some work in highlighting, but the game obviously gets the bulk of their attention. That's good to know. Cool. I think that's all my questions. Kevin, Caroline, you guys have any questions or feedback you want to share?
I'll jump in. I just want to say congrats, you guys. Kevin and I are extremely impressed, not only with your presentation, but your professionalism, the effort that you guys have put in. I know this project got extended and it required additional meetings and time from you guys. And we're just both appreciative of everything that you did. Hopefully you got out as much as we did. I feel like I learned a lot. I joined TikTok, which I didn't before this. Also didn't realize that high schoolers love podcasts. That's incredible and makes me so happy. So I would just say, again, congratulations. So impressed. I think you all have really bright futures. And I just hope this is almost like a cast for you guys for what's next in your careers. And Kevin and I are huge fans and supporters. And even after this is over, we want to help you guys as you start to look at colleges or what your career paths look like. We're both huge cheerleaders for you. So definitely let us know what we can do to help you.
Yeah, I'll second everything that Caroline just said. And I mean, it's on time zones are a real thing. It's 4:23 on a Friday afternoon. Your friends are probably just sitting around playing video games, which I plan on doing later on. But you're taking time to actually do a presentation and actually put some thought. I will say right now, just full disclosure, judges, you can choose not to listen to this, but your responses to the questions that were provided by Sam and Jeff were so freaking articulate. I couldn't have been more impressed with how you fielded those questions. Each one of you had some really thoughtful answers to those questions, and so very well done. But you're taking time to invest in yourself. We've met probably 1 hour every week for the last 8 weeks, and hopefully some of these skills that you've learned, some of these just good habits, will help you in the future. And I couldn't be more proud to be part of this project with you all. So thank you so much for your time.
Yeah, and lastly, to kind of put a bow on this, we made a similar comment about a really strong group that we'd watched the other day. And Lana, I'm sure you could back me on this as a recent college grad. The level of presentation and just sort of presence of mind, as Kevin said, like your ability to respond to those questions, absolutely top notch. But overall, like, the professionalism and preparation rivaled anything that we see at the college level. I mean, Lana, right? You'd probably back that up. And if you guys came in and said that you were juniors and seniors at university before doing this presentation, I'd have believed that all the way. It was a much higher level than we would expect from high school students. But again, we were joking around before. You guys kind of had the dream team. We expected that from some of you guys. And Tay, hope you're doing well. It's been a while since we talked. And Sydney, Zach, I don't think we've met yet before. And Jaden, my daughter goes to Marvin Ridge, so I imagine you've taken classes with Mrs. Hall and Mr. Jamerson and Mr. Webster, that whole crew.
Yes, they're my favorite teachers ever. They're amazing.
Yeah, they've been really helpful promoting our program, and Mrs. Hall especially just seems to really be great at pushing you guys to do your best, and it's clear that you guys all rose to that challenge. So
add one more layer of this love affair we have going on now. I used to run and teach master's students, so post-college graduate master's level students, and the questions we just asked you today were the same questions I would have asked them. And your answers were as good as I would have expected from the best of them. So you guys should really be proud of what you did today. I'm hoping we can, I'm planning to share what you guys put together with the Fiesta Bowl. Since they are a sponsor and I've got a good relationship with a lot of the people over there, hopefully we can turn that into something for you guys. If you all have interest in meeting people there, we're going to do our best to make that happen and do whatever we can to leverage what you've done here and turn it into some real opportunity for you guys. So thank you so much for your time, for your commitment. I hope we see you at more of our events in the future, and best of luck.
Excellent job, guys. Great.
All right, we're going to take a team picture. Okay. So get your best smiles on. And 3, 2, 1. Awesome.
Kev, you're the best.
Yeah,
That was
Kev,
classic Kevin right there. Good stuff.
They love to see it. But reminder, next Thursday will be our award ceremony. So please be there if you can. There was a Google invite and Zoom link sent out. I will also be sending all of the reminders and everything on Monday, so we can get that rolling.
Buddy, have a great weekend.
Thanks, everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank
Bye.
you.
So
Thank you.